Hey friends, welcome back to Great Adventure. I'm your host, Mark Guido, and this may be one of the prettiest spots we've camped in a good long time. We're going to bring you along this week to the Bighorn Mountains of north central Wyoming, so come along. Our boondocking spot this week is on land managed by Bighorn National Forest, where dispersed camping is permitted along specific roads within the National Forest with a 14-day stay limit. This is a very busy national forest for dispersed camping, and there are boondockers seemingly tucked into the tree line everywhere. Views of the central spine of the Bighorns, right from our camp, stretch from 11,722-foot Loaf Mountain to 13,167-foot Cloud Peak, just off US Route 16, also known as the Cloud Peak Skyway. We're camping here at an elevation of 7,900 feet, once again with our friends Pat and Dale for a week, leading up to and including Labor Day weekend. This is open range, where ranchers lease National Forest land to graze their cattle at cooler elevations during the summer months. That means some unexpected visitors at times in camp. As long as Zoe is retrieving something, these cows don't exist as far as she's concerned. One young calf is curious about what all of the fuss over a stick is about, but that calf's mother is determined to make sure her calf doesn't get too curious. This is also an area where many campers bring their horses along. That includes our neighbors Robbie and Lori, who along with their grandson Tanner brought their 3 horses camping for the holiday weekend. This horse was actually born into a wild horse herd near Rock Springs, Wyoming, and trained by penitentiary inmates at the Wyoming Honor Farm before joining Robbie's family. Livestock aren't the only critters that we're encountering this week. We've also picked up a stowaway somewhere along our travels this summer. When we come back following a quick ad break, we'll share a problem the campers here are creating for Forest Service officials, as well as take a hike with our friends to Sherd Lake and visit the town of Buffalo, including the historic Occidental Hotel, so stay tuned. I'd like to pause for a moment to vent to you for a little bit about something that really sticks in my craw. Now, every national forest has a dispersed camping stay limit. It's usually either 14 or 16 days that you can stay in the national forest before you need to move. Now, sometimes you only need to move a few miles. Sometimes you actually have to leave that forest completely. The regulations vary from forest to forest. However, you're also not allowed to leave your camper unoccupied, and I got to double check the regulation, but I think it's for 24 hours. Now, up here, they have a problem that's prevalent in many national forests across the West, and that is people just dropping their campers and leaving them here like a summer cottage, as if they bought an acre of national forest land and decided to homestead on it. And the problem is, like I said, it's prevalent throughout many national forests, but I got to tell you, up here in the Bighorn National Forest, it's probably the worst that I have seen anywhere. There are hundreds, if not more, campers up here that have just been left here for the entire summer. And it's really selfish and it's really unfair for people like us when we come into an area and find that 95% of the good campsites are taken by people who are basically homesteading on public land. The National Forest Rangers will tell you that they typically lack the manpower to be able to enforce the stay limit. However, I gotta wonder. You hire one guy. The fines alone up here will more than pay for that guy's salary. You could retain towing companies out of Buffalo and Sheridan to come up here in impound trailers and just tell the tow companies, you guys keep all the impound revenue, we'll just take the fines. They would gladly do that because between the towing and storage charges, they're going to be looking at probably averaging about $1,000 a trailer. And you start doing that and people will stop homesteading on public land for the entire summer. It's a problem, and it's something that not only our federal government needs to get behind getting straightened out, but quite frankly, campers need to start speaking up and voicing their concerns about people just taking over public land when they have absolutely no right to do so. We've had the good fortune this week of camping within close proximity of our friends Linda and Jamie from the YouTube channel Roaming with Rosie. We're all going to embark upon a hike today to nearby Sherd Lake. This is a 3.5 mile out and back route that departs from the Circle Park trailhead and ends with a rewarding view of Sherd Lake at an elevation of 8,755 feet. Total elevation gain along the trail is 574 feet. Zoe is always happy to retrieve, this time from the lake. The nearest town to our campsite is Buffalo, along the eastern slope of the Bighorns, a 23-mile drive away. Many RV travelers will pass through Buffalo as it's nearly equidistant between Mount Rushmore and Yellowstone. Methane extraction is a key industry here, along with agriculture, tourism, and recreation. It's also the home of author Craig Johnson, whose Longmire series of mystery novels inspired the television series of the same name. The town hosts a massive Longmire Days festival for fans every July. Founded in 1880 near the Bozeman Trail, the Occidental Hotel quickly became one of the most renowned hotels in Wyoming. Its guests included Buffalo Bill Cody, Teddy Roosevelt, and Calamity Jane, who drove freight wagons on the Bozeman Trail. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid would ride into Buffalo to visit the hotel's saloon, much as we're doing today. The embossed ceilings are original, as is the bar that was brought in by wagon 100 years ago. Even the bullet holes behind the bar are original. We hope that you've enjoyed visiting the Bighorn Mountains of north central Wyoming with us. If you liked this episode, it is extremely important that you give us a big thumbs up down below. And while you're down below, that's where you'll find the comments section, where we'd love to hear from you after each grand adventure, which we premiere every Wednesday evening. Coming up next week, we're going to be heading to Hot Springs, South Dakota. So if you're not yet a grand adventurer yourself, now is the perfect time for you to go smash that little subscribe button right down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen and ring that notification bell to be sure that you never miss a grand adventure. Finally, we'd be honored if you shared the channel with your friends, family, and on social media. So until next Wednesday, from Hot Springs, South Dakota, please remember, life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.